Hi there, thank you for clicking on this video. My name is Cece, and today we have an end of the year video. If you don't know, in these videos I talk about my favorite albums, my favorite songs, the stuff that I've been listening to the most that came out this year. The thing is when I was looking at the stuff that I have listened to the most this year, a lot of it didn't even come out this year. So it's like, I'm worried that my list this year is going to be a little smaller than it usually is. However, I never go back and look at the length of my past videos, so for all I know it's the same length, and I'll never know. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back, and if you're new here, welcome. Feel free to subscribe and let's get into this discussion. Also, I'm noticing my voice feels a little weird, at least internally it feels a little weird. If you notice that too, it's because I got over a cold recently. But anyways, let's talk about albums first and the songs within that album that stuck out to me the most. I have the list in alphabetical order, but the album that's at the top of this list is the one that I have definitely listened to the most, apparently, and that album is Addison. I was glued to this album, and I still am. I listened to it on its own so much, and you'd have no idea how many times I discovered I listened to it this year. I'll give you a second to guess. I'll give you a second. I'll wait. Okay, apparently it was this many times. And I look at that number and it surprises me, but at the same time, it makes sense because I really was just listening to it whenever, just popping on that album rather than a playlist quite a bit. When it comes to the songs that stuck out to me, I'm not going to include Diet Pepsi and Aquamarine on here because those came out last year, but I did love those songs, especially Aquamarine. But the ones that I want to talk about that came out this year are Headphones On. I would listen to that traveling anywhere. I would be listening to it on a train, in the car. Times Like These is another one that really just stuck out to me because it's a depression song. I listen to the song most of the time when I'm depressed. And then I also want to bring up High Fashion because when I first listened to that song, I wasn't really that into it. It was just there. But then as the months went by, I continued to listen to it and it was just like, wait a second. What is in this song? What have I been sleeping on? I loved it more and more, and now it's like one of my favorite songs to listen to off the album. It's so good. It's so underestimated, and that's the story of this song's life, is that it's underestimated. Another album that I want to talk about that I would listen to a lot, just popping on that album rather than a playlist, is Even in Arcadia by Sleep Token. Now, I have never talked about this artist before on my channel. I'm usually talking about pop artists on this channel, but I've honestly been listening to a lot of rock and metal, especially this year, and this is an example of one of that. This album is so beautiful. Every single song, I can just feel how well made it was and all of the work that was put into making these songs. The first song that I ever listened to of Sleep Tokens was Emergence. That was the song that got me into this band's work, and I still love this song to this day. It's one of my favorite songs. When it comes to Vecna, that Stranger Things type of stuff, pop Emergence in my headphones and I'll escape him. Emergence is such a good song. I listen to it when I'm depressed. I listen to it when I'm sad, when I'm mad, when I'm happy. I always want to be listening to this song. Emergence just does that to me. It's always there, every mood. I also really like Dangerous and Infinite Baths. Those songs are some of my favorites to listen to. But like I said, a lot of these songs are so just beautiful, and it got me into listening to this band's past work and past songs, and now I like songs from all those albums too. It's a long story short of saying that this year I very much became a Sleep Token fan. Next album I want to talk about on here is Man's Best Friend by Sabrina Carpenter. I did not make a reaction video to this album. Like a lot of other stuff that I didn't do a reaction for, this was one of them. I kind of regret it, I kind of don't regret it, because on my first listen, I wasn't that impressed with the album. I really loved songs like Tears and Don't Worry, I'll Make You Worry. But when I first listened to this album, I wasn't really impressed with it. I wanted to give it more of a chance because I saw the potential. So I continued listening to it. And now I like this album. Now I like it a lot. I love the cover. I love what the songs are saying. Men suck. And with that, I will go into Mayhem by Lady Gaga. Me and my best friend, we have been listening to this album a lot. Lady Gaga really did it this year. she did it this year with these songs. Garden of Eden. I love Garden of Eden. I get so happy whenever Garden of Eden will play in a club. Just Perfect Celebrity. I'll never hear Perfect Celebrity in the club, and that's okay, but I love that one too. An honorable mention to some other ones like Disease and Zombie Boy, but those two are my favorites. Next album I want to bring up is by Zara Larsson. It's called Midnight Sun. This girl has really had a rise this year in popularity with this album, and especially the song Midnight Sun. And I get it. Like, it's a vocal stem. I annoy my friends a lot by singing this song, and I don't regret it. I love this song and I'll continue to sing it. Like, that vocal riff there, yeah, that's my number one vocal stem of this year. Shout out to Pretty Ugly too, because that song, it's another single off of that album, and it's a great song to shout. It really is. Honestly, I think Zara Larsson just comes through with good vocal stems. And the last album that I want to bring up on this list is Princess of Power by Marina. I love Marina, and this album does not disappoint. I honestly like this album more than a couple of the other recent ones that she put out in the past. And I think the song that first showed me that this album was going to be one that I would enjoy more than a couple of the past ones is Cantissimo. When I first heard that, I was glued to it, and I would get excited whenever I would hear it anywhere. It just unlocks something powerful in me. Other songs that I want to bring up on this album that I listen to a lot are Hello Kitty, another depression song, to be honest. I will listen to that song when I'm depressed, or actually maybe not necessarily depressed, but when I have had deep crushes on someone this year, because best believe that's just something I do. Hello Kitty was there. When I say I like you, it means I'm obsessed. She ate with those lyrics. I know there's other albums that came out this year that I listened to them. And they were there, and some of them weren't necessarily bad, but it was just they didn't make the list of my favorite most listened to albums. But with that, I'm going to transition over to the songs that I listen to the most that aren't part of albums, at least for now. And one of those that are not part of an album yet, but is just an amazing song right now, is Yes, Baby by Madison Beer. That song is so powerful, so beautiful. It just gets me up. It just gets me so hyped. I love this song, and it continues the sound that Madison Beer has been making with Make You Mine. 15 minutes of this just dark pop siren kind of vibe. It suits her so well, and I'm really looking forward to that for the album. I'm really hoping there's gonna be more songs like that for the album. Bittersweet didn't necessarily fit that, but Bittersweet and Yes Baby, they both make sense as being part of an album, and Make You Mine is part of that album too. So shout out to Yes Baby and Bittersweet too. I like that one too. Next up, I want to talk about Slater. I want to talk about Slater and these songs that she put out this year. 3 for 3, Beat Up Chanel's, I probably have to bleep that one out because I probably can't say that word on YouTube, and Crank It. All 3 of these songs are so fun to listen to. They're part of an album, right? Because I don't think Slater has made any sort of album news, and that's kind of infuriating because these songs all sound like they belong in an album, and if all 3 of them are good, I can only imagine what the other songs of this upcoming album would be like. So I want to know, where is this album? Kim Petras came out with some good songs too, but I think the ones that I want to bring up the most, that stood out the most to me, are Freak It and Radio. Radio was a collaboration with a couple of other artists, but Freak It was just her, and I love this vibe that she's bringing in, and she's more independent. I'm pretty sure she parted with that label, thank goodness, and now it's just her, I believe. Both of these people, Slater and Kim Petras, wear these upcoming albums. Next song I want to talk about is an artist I've never mentioned on this channel before either, is Bailey, and the song I want to bring up is Passenger Princess. This is one that my best friend introduced me to, and I love this song. It's a good club song. It should play in the clubs more. It really should. And also, speaking of club songs, I want to talk about Itty Bitty by Ashnikko. Pretty sure I have heard that song out. The vibe is there. I'm talking about all these pop artists, and like I said, I've been listening to more rock and metal, especially this year. So now I'm kind of getting into those artists, and the first one I want to bring up is Bad Omens. It looks like Bad Omens is having an album coming out soon. That's another case where I actually have no idea. But there's like several tracks. But the one I want to specifically talk about is Dying for Love. I think out of these new songs that they put out, Dying for Love is the one that's my favorite. It is the one that I listen to the most. Now that I'm more familiar with this band's music, I'm excited for this upcoming album. And Health. I actually got into Health like last year, maybe a couple years ago. Ever since then with that song Dead Flowers. So I have been into that band's music for a while, but I want to specifically talk about You Die, because that one is the one I've been listening to out of that band's newest music. They do have an upcoming album. I for a fact know that. Their stuff feels very unique and just so nice to listen to. Now, the last couple of songs I want to talk about, I guess, are both mainly by Poppy, but one of them is a collaboration actually with Amy Lee from Evanescence and Courtney from Spiritbox. That song is called End of You, and I still remember that announcement of just like the picture of all three of them standing like side by side like that. It was really crazy, wondering what the hell is about to happen. And then they released this song and they released that music video and they all sounded so great together. And I thought maybe that was gonna be, especially since people were saying that it mainly like a Poppy song with the other two collaborating with Poppy. Thought that that song was going to be a part of Poppy's upcoming album, but it wasn't. But a song that is a part of Poppy's upcoming album that I really want to talk about is Blue Sky, because I have listened to that one a lot. It's already becoming one of my favorite Poppy songs and the album isn't even out. And I will make that video eventually of talking about my favorite Poppy songs, like top 10 Poppy songs. It's gonna happen, but now I just have to wait for this album to come out. I feel like I just have to wait for that album to come out now, and then I can include those songs in that list if there's any that's gonna update that list. I know she put out Guardian. I'm either just gonna listen to that with the rest of the album, or I'm gonna wait until like next year to listen to it. Unless she releases another single before the album, then I'll probably just pair those two like I did with Unravel and Blue Sky. But anyways, I'm starting to get off on a tangent. Blue Sky was the last song I wanted to mention, so that is basically it for my favorite albums and songs. Tell me, do you agree? Do you not agree? What were your favorite albums and songs that came out this year? Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Like this video and subscribe for more. I've done plenty of music reactions. I also do covers of songs that I like, and I will leave the playlist for those up on my screen for you to watch if you would like to. And I hope to see you in my next video next year, 2026. Bye.